Welcome back to my series where we're ranking every Avril Lavigne song in every Avril Lavigne album. Today we are looking at her fourth studio album, Goodbye Lullaby. I don't want to waste too much time talking about the tier because I've introduced it earlier in the series already, but essentially we have It's So Beautiful for the top songs, then we have That's Why I Smile for the songs that we really like, but they're just not quite the top material. We have I Love It When You Hate Me for songs that generally we like, but there are some elements we don't like. Then we have She's Like So Whatever, and that's more for songs that we kind of vibe to. So maybe we don't really like the song so much, but there are certain elements that we do like. And finally, I Won't Listen to You for songs that we skip or we full on won't listen to. I feel like some of the tiers might sound a bit aggressive, like She's So Whatever. And I just want to say that I really love Avril, and anything that goes on there, I don't literally mean it's so whatever. I'm just having fun with the ranking and putting Avril song lyrics on there. So first I want to start off with something really interesting about this album, and that is the battle that she kind of had with her record label to put this out. So this album was completed like a year before it was actually put out, and that was because Avril had an ongoing battle with her record label about how the album should sound. She said that people kept coming in and giving opinions about what direction she should take it, and she had a really different idea of what she wanted with it. The biggest challenge and only challenge of this album was my record company. I found myself in a situation on my fourth record with a bunch of people at the label who I didn't know, and they're coming in on my project and saying, here's what we think you need to do. During this time, dance pop was kind of the biggest thing on the radio, so they wanted her to take that approach. So she said that she had to fight, she needed to say no, but that ultimately she did make the album that she wanted to make. So this battle is reflected in some of the songs that were put into this album. Unfortunately, I have to say that some of those songs that she wrote because they pushed her to are my top songs on the album. So I don't know what that says about me. My ukulele just fell on the floor. So let's just dive in to rank the songs. We are also challenging ourselves to put them from best to worst, so not just in an allocated rank slot. And typically I would only include B-sides that Wikipedia cited as to not put things where they don't belong. But in this case, I added Won't Let You Go because I'm like almost 99% sure that this came from this album, even though Wikipedia didn't list it. And I don't think it's actually a B-side. I think it was an unreleased track. So I don't know if that's cheating, but I've put it in. Black Star, which I think Avril Lavigne calls her fans little black stars, or she used to, and I don't know. I have to say, for me, like, this song is just like bottom tier, like skip all the way. I don't picture a situation where I would play this song other than if I was like, oh, I want to hear the album start to finish. So yeah, I'm not gonna dive more into that. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. For me, it's a hard pass. And then we go to What the Hell, which was co-written by the king of pop songwriting, Max Martin. And it was also co-written by Shellback, who's also an incredible songwriter. The song was successful and reached #1 in Japan and top 5 in Asia and top 10 in Europe, Australia, South America, Mexico, Canada, and top 20 in the US and UK, peaking at 11 and 16 respectively. So this song really brings that energy that we heard in The Best Damn Thing. And this is one of those songs that I think they pushed her towards writing something that would be more playable for the radio at the time, which is where I was coming in to say like, well, those are kind of some of my top songs. So I've given that away. That's going at the top. Particularly for this album, I think this is one of the strongest tracks. And now we get to Push, which is also a really good song on this album. And it was co-written by Evan Taubenfeld, who we've talked about in our previous videos going over her different albums. And he's also the person who sings the bridge in the song, in case you didn't know. This was released as a promotional single in Japan only. Obviously, it didn't get a music video or anything like that. And I think it would have been a pretty solid single to have released. I'm going to put it on That's Why I Smile because I really like the song, but it's not really like up there for me. I Wish You Were Here was the third and final single of this album. Personally, I think Push could have made a better single than I Wish You Were Here. We got a really nice video out of this where Avril Lavigne's like crying, and she even said that they brought in onions, but she was like, no, I can do it on my own. And she was just like really crying from the emotion. But what I lack in the song is like actually hearing the pain. I don't know, when I hear the song, it sounds a little bit too produced, and I don't feel like I really get that sense of pain that is kind of being conveyed in the lyrics. And honestly, it's not one of my favorite songs in the album, and I think that there are elements that I like and then some things that I'm not a huge fan of. So because of that, I am gonna put it in I Love It When You Hate Me. So right off the bat, I think compared to some of the albums we've talked about, we can see this one's coming in a little bit weaker, at least from like my perspective and like my personal opinion on it. But I do have to say, for me, this is probably one of the lower performing albums in my taste. Like, I think it has a lot of really nice songs, but it doesn't have a lot of like top songs, if that makes sense. Like, I like the music, but it's not the music that I will go to first when I go to Avril Lavigne's catalog. So we get to Smile, which was also co-written by Max Martin and Shellback. So again, I think this is one of those songs that they like forced her to write. And again, we hear this like best damn thing energies in this song. Also a little bit of Under My Skin, and I think we really see like the personality of the video. He wasn't reflected in the video that we got for Smile. The song charted in the top 30 of Australia, Japanese, and New Zealand charts, in addition to being certified by the Record Industry Association of Australia and the United States. When the song was first released, I actually didn't like it that much because I felt like the swearing felt very like forced. Like, it felt like she was just trying to get as many swear words in there as possible. But then if you think about the best damn thing and whatnot, there was so many swear words in there as well. So I don't know why that I had that impression that it just felt like she was throwing swear words where they didn't belong. But this one grew on me a lot, and I think this is actually probably my favorite track on the album. I also really love the guitar part, and I like the energy. In particular, I really like the chorus of this song. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it at the top and before What the Hell. And now we get to Stop Standing There, which is a song that I feel like might have been an earlier track that she worked on, because I can feel a little bit of this like best damn thing vibe on it, but also a mix of like what this album became. So I mean, it's either that or maybe it's a song that the label was also pushing to put more upbeat stuff in there. I don't know. But I feel like I can kind of hear a little bit of her past album in this. And for me, this is actually a really, really good song. I was listening to it a lot when the album came out. And for that, I'm gonna put it on That's Why I Smile. I Love You is a very nice song. It's sweet, it's relaxing, and I think it really shows kind of like the energy that this album gives. But even though I like it, it's really not my favorite. I am actually gonna put it in I Love It When You Hate Me. So now we get to Everybody Hurts, which I think people are gonna be really upset with how I'm gonna rank this, because I've seen that people really hype this song, and I think even in terms of Spotify plays, it has more plays than some of the other non-single tracks. But for me, this is a really like weak song. There are very few elements in it that I like. The message is nice, but the way that it's conveyed, I don't know, it doesn't really speak to me. It feels a little too generic, doesn't quite hit that spot, but it does have this like Goodbye Lullaby sound to it, which is nice for me in a sense that I would maybe play this in the background and sing along, and I like it, but it's not the song I'm gonna go and put on by myself when I'm feeling down. And for that, it's gonna have to go in She's Like So Whatever. So now we have It's Not Enough, which again is a track that feels a little bit generic to me. It has some really nice melodies that I do like. I would vibe to this song, but it's not a song that I would go to directly and be like, hey, I want to play this song. I think I would need to be in a very, very specific type of mood for that, if at all. So that's also gonna have to go in She's Like So Whatever. But definitely Everybody Hurts goes after, because and now we get to For Real, which I remember when the album came out, I was listening to this one a lot, but I don't really think it's a very strong song. Again, there are certain elements in it that I like, but as a whole, it doesn't speak to me. So again, that's gonna have to be another She's Like So Whatever song. Like, it feels a bit generic and bland to me, and I love it because it's Avril, but I don't love it. This is, again, the type of song that I would be singing if it was on, but I wouldn't go and put it on myself. I get to Darling, which is a song that she actually wrote when she was 14, and then she produced it and put it on this album, which I think is very sweet. I like the song a lot. This was one of the songs that I was also playing a lot back when the album actually came out. I think personally, for me, I would have to go and I Love It When You Hate Me, because it's not such a... I hate saying that some of the songs seem a little bit bland to me, but this one in particular spoke to me way more than those other songs did. So I'm gonna put it in between I Love You and Wish You Were Here, because again, Wish You Were Here for me was kind of a weak single. So now we get to Remember When, which is a song that really has its moments. Like, it has very strong moments. Like, for me, the second verse of the song, so good. The build up at the end, so good. But the rest of the song is a big miss for me. And it's not one of those cases like The Best Damn Thing that I said that there's certain parts that I really, really like and I put it further up. This is more like, I really like those bits, but for some reason in this case it just doesn't really come through for me, and it doesn't make me want to go and listen to it. So I think I'm gonna put it over here after For Real, because For Real, like I said, it was a track that I was listening to a lot more, and I think as a whole it's a better song. So when I was saying that in I Wish You Were Here she didn't really show so much emotion, we really see this in Remember When. Like in that second verse we hear so much emotion, and I love that, and I wish there was some more of that in the album. I wish there was more of that in I Wish You Were Here. And that really made that song, I feel like. And it's not enough. I just love the chorus. I love the transition into it, and and the bridge really gives me a nostalgic feel for this album. It also reminds me a little bit of Alice, I don't know. But again, there's like those elements that I like, and then the rest is just weak for me. So we're at the last track officially on the album, which was Goodbye. When I heard this, I actually could not stand it. I really didn't like it, and I was like, that's why it's the closing track. But it's actually grown on me so much, to the point where I'm actually gonna put it on That's Why I Smile. I really like this song. I think it has that emotion that I was talking about that was lacking in some of the other songs. And it's very like raw, and I like how it was put together, and I think it just took me extra time to listen to it and really get into it to appreciate it. Also, even though the song was not a single, we got a music video for it, and I don't know why, but I was really happy to get that extra music video, and I feel like it was such a nice way to wrap up the album with this song. Although, of course, we get to Alice, which was supposedly a hidden track, but I think it was listed in the album as a song, so I don't know. But it's marked as a hidden track. This track was made for Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, and the song got mixed reviews overall, and honestly this is a track that I don't come back to a lot, and I might even skip, because it kind of gives me a headache in the chorus, which sounds really bad, but when this song came out I loved it, and I was playing it non-stop, and I was like playing it for my friends, and I was like, we need to make a music video for this song. But nowadays I feel like the chorus gives me a little bit of a headache, which is weird. I don't know if I'm just getting old. I don't know if it's one of those things where I heard the song so much and it's not one of those songs that you can overplay and stick to. It's one of the songs that you overplay and then you kind of move on from it. So because of all of that, I'm gonna put it in I Love It When You Hate Me, because so there's a lot of things in there that I do like, but at the same time, like sometimes I will skip it. So I think that middle level really like brings out this like idea that I'll skip it, but also that I was really obsessed with it at some point. And here I put it before Wish You Were Here, but actually I think I'm gonna put it lower because I really would go to Wish You Were Here before I would go to Alice. And finally we get to Won't Let You Go, which is a really beautiful song that was not released, even though I have watched interviews with Avril where they're playing this song in the background. So I don't know how that's happening. Did she give it to them? Did she tell them play it? Where did they get it from? How did they get the rights to broadcast it? Also, can we please get it on Spotify? Because this is such a good song. Me, the song feels like Keep Holding On and When You're Gone had a baby, and that's what came out, and it was beautiful. So even though this wasn't even on the album, for me, this is a That's Why I Smile song. I wish this had been on the album. I think it's really like a powerful track. It's just a shame that it didn't get actually released. But anyway, that is our rank for Goodbye Lullaby. I wonder if you guys want to bury me for the things that I've had to say. So I really like this album, contrary to what might be reflected right now in my tier list. But Avril Lavigne is one of those artists that I love, and I'll listen to all of her songs and I'll play everything. But of course, there are songs we listen to way more than others. And I think this album is one of the albums that I come to the least. And that's why this is how my rating looks like. So far we've ranked Let Go, Under My Skin, The Best Damn Thing, and we're gonna do all the albums, and soon we're gonna be looking at Love Sucks. If you're curious to see how I've ranked all the albums prior to this one, those videos are all up on my channel right now, so you can go and check them out. If you want to see me rank the self-titled album, Head Above Water, and Love Sucks, make sure to subscribe, stick around for that. Thanks for hanging out with me, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next video.